The conclusions in my windblown snow video, made 3 years ago, like all my observation videos, are really just a hypothesis. Over these last 3 years, it's been pestering the back of my mind that those hypotheses, not really presented as such, probably aren't true. I propose that the dip in the snow below a limbed-up hedgerow was caused by the wind, sped up by the obstacle, scouring away the snow from below the trees. While this still seems possible and wind scour certainly happens in some cases, it is not like when I made this proposition I had any real evidence for it, such as previously flat snow then getting blown away. In order to test that hypothesis, this experiment will separate the vertical and horizontal aspects of the trees to test how much of an effect each portion has on the snow. The study area is in a slight scour area of the field, from the perspective of the dominant western wind on an upslope of a hill, with the snow drifting in the lee on the far side of the hill behind the camera. The horizontal piece of roofing will act to prevent snow falling directly onto the ground, with snow reaching the area below transported by diffusion and wind. The vertical piece, oriented perpendicular to the dominant western wind, will test my scour theory on an area with unimpeded access to the sky. Observed over 4 large snowstorms and a few smaller ones, there appears to be merit to my hypothesis. In the first storm, of 9 inches, as measured in a more sheltered spot, less even in control areas of the windblown field, I noticed the effect of lowered snow below the vertical, with a noticeable hump of snow on the windward side of the vertical sheet. That horizontal sheet had some snow on top of it, but nowhere near the full amount of the storm. In this dusting of snow, you can see how it collected in divots, but also formed a mound on the upwind of the vertical. I did get a smaller storm that fell with virtually no wind, a rarity. The depression of the vertical piece is just residual of the shape of the snow below. When the wind came the next day, it scoured away the already fallen snow. The distinct line is where the surface of the snow was and had some slight consolidation or melting prior to the wind. Interestingly, the snow on top of the horizontal piece remained in place. I did not notice it in the first 2 large storms, but respectively after the second 2, I noticed that the scour started barely before the vertical piece, but continued for a long while after that vertical piece. I didn't know why this changed in different storms, but there are so many unmeasured variables in the wind and snow that I suspect it was one of these that led to such. Prior to the last storm, it was down to almost bare ground, and the scour returned it almost to such. These photos, with the experiment location at the relative crest of the hill, really shows the hump prior to the vertical piece, an unexpected but explainable observation. My theory is that the wind, slowed down by the obstruction, dropped the snow it was carrying. Then once speeding up through the constriction and with less snow suspended, it picked up substantially more snow than it was dropping for the first bit after the vertical piece, before returning to a more equilibrium type of dropping and picking up. A caveat is that this setup is in the middle of our field, a much windier location than the hedge next to our house. Though this experiment supports my hypothesis of one form of wind scour being caused by wind being redirected by a vertical obstruction with a gap below, the results may not be valid for the hedge next to our house, which may be more influenced by cover than wind. Meaning my explanation would be false for the hedge, while still being true for windier locations such as this.